Why don't we start off with Microsoft? Big beat when it came to cloud. Also, we got those numbers about Microsoft Copilot, now over 100 million users. What was your take on the quarter?
Yeah, I mean, it was just fantastic. There literally is nothing to pick at. Azure growth came in at 39%. The buy side bogey kind of crept up to 36% growth, and they just absolutely blew it out of the water. And they are guiding below for the current quarter. But with that said, comps are getting easier ahead, and the bulls can simply dream 40% growth for Azure in the near term. And simply put, the company's just exposed to a number of secular trends, and it's going to remain a core holdings for a wide range of investors. It's that simple. Amy Hood, who did have some wobbles in recent memory, this is now her second call in a row where she's just kind of hit it out of the park, and that's important. She's got the margins on track, and she's got her mojo, no doubt.
All right, I want to turn to Meta as well. Revenue really seemed to be the story here. We got to remember Meta is essentially an ad company. What was your view of the quarter, the strength that we saw there, and also the losses in Reality Labs? We had our Arjun Gopal on earlier, $4.5 billion in losses. He said it's just kind of, a throwaway loss because it's a long-term bet. Do you agree with that take?
Yeah, I think it's a good take on it, and at this point, the stock's working for one reason only, and that's what Zuckerberg's kind of been focused on his investment cycle in AI, and that's obviously where the firm is still laser focused. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. I mean, it is a drop in the bucket. Zuckerberg really since when the calendar turned in 2020, early this year, he's made it his priority that AI is the #1 focus, unlike some other big tech competitors, and he's delivering. And there's obviously it's a pretty simple narrative here: accelerating growth, and now they have an all-star AI team that he's been assembling. And again, like you said earlier, biggest red beat in 4 years. And both of these prints, whether it's Azure on the cloud side, Meta on advertising side, it's just going to fuel conviction, even further that the duration of this AI super investment cycle has a lot more legs behind it.
I thought it was interesting that he said, I'm talking about Mark Zuckerberg in this case, he said after, obviously, CapEx spending to build out the AI infrastructure, spending on talent would likely be the #2 expense. How do you think that's going to be viewed on the street?
I mean, right now he's getting paid for it. Stocks trading all-time highs. So, I mean, they're throwing pro-athlete money around to engineers. Funny enough, we're seeing that within our own industry, within the multi-strat, kind of complex and on the buy side. But yeah, I mean, people want talent, and that's sort of and it's been no secret. He's been poaching a lot of super intelligent people from Apple and Tim Cook. So it'll be interesting how they address this on the call this evening. But Zuckerberg, again, he was on he did the podcast circuit back in January and February, and he says this is still 2025 is the most critical year for AI, and even his CapEx commentary on 2026 is even more bullish, which again is just kind of going to fuel the AI semi-trade. The ad beat will kind of support names like Reddit, Pinterest, Snapchat, et cetera. So I mean, there's really nothing to pick at in terms of him spending money on talent.
Joel, we got to go. Just very quick answer. Does this put more pressure on Apple's results and them to also give a sense of what they're doing with AI?
100%. I think Dan Ives, also one of my colleagues, has been very, very clear of how disappointed he was coming out of WWDC back in early June, where AI was just sort of not even mentioned, brushed over. Investors want answers, hence positioning into the print tonight, 3 out of 10 at best. And I think simply put, with a name like Apple, it is almost impossible to find any sort of highly convicted bulls in this stock. And that's probably been the case now for 1 to 2 years. So that's definitely a focus to get this story turned around a little bit.